Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. For some not great news regarding MBONAMBI, we have had a slight update from within the Sharks camp ahead of their URC weekend. And the Sharks off to a absolute disaster start to the season and are absolutely desperate to get their Springboks back as soon as possible because they need to turn things around. 4 rounds of URC, not a single victory, just the 1 point. They are well behind where they need to be. This is a side that should be making top 8, a side that should be making playoffs, a side that should be probably finishing top 4. And currently they're sitting 11 points from that Champions Cup qualification. Weird enough, actually, horribly enough, only just one South African team in that top 8. Bulls topping the log and tied with Leinster and Glasgow. However, the teams have had to travel up front, which is probably what has put them back. But, so in terms of the Sharks, who are going through a bit of a disaster, they need the players back, don't they? Before we talk about some of the players they are getting back and a bit of an update on MBONAMBI, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Right, so the Sharks are missing a lot of players through injury as well as through Springbok duty. From a Springbok perspective, both Scrum and Jaden Henderson, Grant Williams, Michael Dorner-Pimpy, Lekanya, Eben Etzebeth, Machekova Ditswe, or Oxen Chair, MBONAMBI, Vincent Koch. So we're talking about a full front row. We're talking about a lock. We're talking about scrum off and reserve scrum off. We're talking about outside centre, and we're talking about a wing. There are a lot of players from a Bok perspective who the Sharks need to get back. And it's not good news regarding MBONAMBI. So in a press conference this morning, we got an update from Hendrik Currie. He apparently, John Plumtree is very worried about MBONAMBI's injury, and they need to try and determine whether he'll be available for the season. So, it doesn't sound good. Even the fact that they don't know what his, return date is going to be suggests that maybe they're not entirely sure what the injury is or what the extent of the injury is, rather. Vincent Koch is also currently injured. So, they've joined a long list of injured players with the likes of Kerwin Bosch and a whole bunch of players. I think Kieran Van Vuren is one of them as well, injured. So, an injury crisis at the Sharks, a rugby crisis at the Sharks. Now, Neil Powell and John Plumtree faced the media this morning and are apparently very confident that they can turn things around. But things are not looking good. And for MBONAMBI, what an absolute huge blow that is for the Sharks. We're talking about a player who was one of the best performers in the World Cup. Getting into that final. I thought it was absolutely terrific throughout the World Cup, and especially after that injury to Malcolm Marx. Really stood up and said, right, well, I need to step up. I need to show people that, we're not going to miss Malcolm Marx that much because I can step up and do the job. And he did that. And then a horrible clean out during the final saw him leave. And now it looks like it could be a potential season-ending injury, which is why, the type of clean out that Shannon Brazil exacts on him is something that is outlawed and why he got the yellow card. I don't think there can be too much argument against it. And we're seeing the effects of it. Now, personally, I've never been one to sit there and say that the punishment should match the injury, because I think there are perfectly legal tackles which can result in horror injuries, and there are some illegal tackles that don't result in injuries. So I don't think, I've always thought that's a bad barometer, to sit there and say, oh, well, the player's gotten injured, therefore he deserves a card or whatever, because I think it's often inconsequential to the actual incident. The incident should just be, judged on what happened. Was it reckless? Was it a bad tackle? And what could it have resulted in, not what it did result in. You can't sit there seeing a head-on-head collision and they go, well, the guy's fine, so therefore it's fine. Or a head-on-head collision where you knocked that guy out clean, therefore you have to take a lot of action. It's about stopping the actions rather than dealing with the results. You don't want to retrospectively just punish people. You need to sort of encourage better behavior. It's a big blow though, not being able to have MBONAMBI, because it's more than just not having a Springbok. We're talking a sort of set piece when it comes to the Sharks. That's a huge aspect of any team. MBONAMBI, is one of the top line-out throwers. He was one of the top line-out throwers worldwide the last few years. But also from a leadership perspective, I personally think you could see him captaining the Sharks. Long term as well. I think he's become a big part of the Springbok leadership group. I think he'll become a big part of the Sharks leadership group. And if he is injured for the season, that's a huge blow for them. Same as Vincent Koch. They got Currie and so great, and they got Ntsuga, but if those are the two players coming off the bench to replace Vincent Koch and Oxen Chair, then all of a sudden you've got this absolute powerhouse bench. If you've got a Kieran Van Vuren, for example, coming off the bench to replace MBONAMBI, that's the incredible depth the Sharks have and want to be able to use. the moment, not quite happening for them. So let me know what do you think down in the comments below. How do the Sharks bounce back? How do they cope without the likes of an MBONAMBI? Can they cope without the likes of an MBONAMBI? Let me know down in the comments below. Smash the like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon.